Now, what you're going to see here is why the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
You know, any superhero movie or action movie, franchise movie, where it ends with all of the main cast or some of the main cast turn around and looking up at the hero and they all go, well what do we call you? And the hero just kind of stoically sits there, thinks for a moment. He looks down the barrel of the gun, and then it cuts to credits because it's the title of the goddamn movie. Oh, I hate that so much. Anyway, here's
Black Adam.
Black Adam's what we're doing this week. It is a DC Comics superhero adaptation, although Black Adam, no hero. Yes, famously, he is either a villain or he's an anti-hero. Black Adam lives in the fictional country of Kahndaq. He's a few centuries old, used to be a slave to the original ruling family of the time. The Wizard Council granted him magical abilities. He managed to depose the kingdom's rulers and was then imprisoned for centuries. Now some explorers looking for a mystical artifact have accidentally woken up Black Adam, and the world's going to have to find out, is he a hero? Is he going to bring about ruin and destruction? Now the film is directed by Jaume Collet Serra, who does some pretty decent action thrillers actually. One of my favourite Liam Neeson thrillers of recent years is Run All Night, and then he worked quite recently with The Rock on surprisingly good Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise was more of an adventure blockbuster. This one just comes hurtling out the gate trying to smash out one of the biggest aesthetic superhero blockbusters we've seen in recent years. And does it hit the mark? No, not really. Not even a little bit, actually. It wants the cool factor. It never stops trying to gain that cool factor, and it does so much. And really, the moment you take a second to look to see if there's substance to what it's trying to do, or you sit with it for too long, you kind of go, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. This is a film that Dwayne Johnson spent 15 years wanting to make. He has wanted to be Black Adam for all of that time. And it's really disappointing to see that this movie doesn't come with those years of passion. In fact, it feels like a movie that has just gone, oh, people kind of liked that from that superhero movie. And we kind of liked how they did that in that superhero movie. So let's just keep taking little bits and pieces, put it all together, call it Black Adam, and hope it makes a few $100 million. Yes, I've got some obvious criticisms about this film, but it is aesthetically quite interesting. It's not consistently this great visual masterpiece, but it does set up some really cool sequences or impressive shots to pull you in, or to have set this up to make Black Adam seem as impressive a hero debut as possible, which is no small feat because Black Adam isn't a character that has made his way to live action before. So it's a big deal that the film hits its stride with that early on. Additionally, Lorne Balfe does the score for the film. He's why the movie feels so epic and powerful. Black Adam is intimidating, strong, and all of the notes, all of the danger and the presence that comes with a hero like that is hit by the musical score of this film. In terms of performances within this feature, there is none better than Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, who just steals the show. He's so suave, charming, and charismatic. He has this worldly air about him that makes him seem wise and powerful, and he has such an even keel. He feels kind of like the heart or the conscience of the JSA, the superhero team that is set up against Black Adam in the film. And I just liked that he was so ready to talk his way through the problems, that he showed such great care and affection for those within his team, and that he feels like the only character in the film that is a capable superhero. Seeing him go up and battle the final act villain one-on-one was one of the most impressive character moments of the film. And I really loved that. And it was great seeing Brosnan play around in a universe like that. He hasn't done that in a little while, so that was very cool to see. Joining Brosnan with some great performances is lead actress in the film, Sarah Shahi, who plays Adriana. Adriana is sort of this explorer, resistance fighter, trying to keep her home country safe. Her on-screen brother, Muhammad Amir, who plays Kareem, is like just the comedic backbone of the movie. Another performer that's really great in this film is Quintessa Swindell, a non-binary actor who does exemplary work as Cyclone. I really loved seeing their work, the way they crafted a young superhero who is intelligent and enthusiastic and just flings themselves into danger gave me real Peter Parker vibes, so I hope we get to see more of them in the future. There are a few other DC characters from prior films that return in this one. Jimon Hanso comes back as the Wizard with us, Storm and Shazam. Comes back here, we get to see a more earlier iteration of him. We also get Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, which is perfect. She is authority personified. She has such a stoic, stern demeanor, and yet every word that comes from her mouth just punches with power. In saying all that, Black Adam comes with a lot of flaws, and it starts early on. The first act opens with a narration that probably isn't, but feels about 10 minutes long. It's this huge exposition chunk that essentially dictates everything you're going to need to know about Black Adam, everything you need to know about the fictional country of Kahndaq, everything you need to know about this mystical artifact known as the Crown of Sabak, and a few other details such as the fact that Kahndaq is now occupied by a military criminal organization called Intergang. What it fully is very murkily defined. And I mean, you know, can't blame. It's not like they had a 10-minute long narration to kind of define that for you, but the script here does not command attention. The fact that we get kind of talked down to or drummed all this packaged information in so early indicates to me that they want to front load us with information so that we can get locked in with the action scenes that come later. That's exactly how it plays out. I'm a bit tired with action or superhero movies with any kind of big actiony genre at the moment, having the main character needing a sort of childlike sidekick to govern their moral actions for them. It just feels very played out at the moment. And in Black Adam especially, you don't care about that bond. It doesn't matter for anything, but it's the only way the scriptwriters seem to have decided that Black Adam works in the modern world. Because the only other thing that really defines his role is that the JSA, one of the superhero teams of this world, comes in to lock down Black Adam, who is perceived as an unknown threat, and to cage him away, throw away the key, hope never to see him again. Which leads us to some of the most repetitive back and forth dialogue you're gonna have to sit for in a superhero movie in a while, which is characters brooding in corners and telling Black Adam, "You're no hero," or "Heroes don't kill people," and Black Adam kind of stoically gazing off in the distance back at them saying, "Yeah, well, I am no hero." And it just feels so uninspired. Like, that's as deep as it gets. Everything in this movie is going, heroism isn't black and white. This struggle for superheroes is very morally grey. Well, yeah, no, duh. We've been doing superhero movies quite a while now. The black and white moral story debate, that's been and gone. We've done that. If you've got something interesting to bring to the table in that discussion, do it. But this real surface level kind of thematic talk is dull as dishwater. And then we hit the final villain, which is just where it all falls apart. The final villain is your classic CGI fest that comes in right at the end. Doesn't look very good. They need Black Adam for whatever reason. I guess the JSA couldn't handle this guy either, so which makes me wonder what the JSA is even really good for in this film. It wraps up very quickly. The JSA just kind of go, yeah, Black Adam saved the day there. We'll leave him alone. And so they do. Black Adam gazes into the lens, dubs himself Black Adam, and we get credits. There is a nice surprise in the credits for those wanting to stay around. It might be one of the most exciting things to come from the film, but you might as well just see it online, because that entire movie isn't worth sitting around for. Beyond that, every action scene kind of devolves into slow motion at some point. We've seen this a lot with blockbusters in the past. If you're using a lot of slow motion, it makes including visual effects into it a bit easier. It also shows where the budget constraints are, so you can fit more in, or you can do more with less. The special effects in this movie go up, down, left and right. Very confusing to watch. Sometimes things look brilliant. Sometimes you see The Rock flying and it looks like he's being dragged along heavily on those wires to the point that it just does not look believable. Outside of that, I got very done with the soundtrack very quickly. It feels like someone randomly went, what would be cool music? Not what is music that defines this movie and what will set the tone. It is what is cool music. Literally, this could have been Dwayne Johnson's gym playlist and it wouldn't surprise me. In fact, by the time it got near the end of the movie and all of a sudden this kicked in, I sort of knew. I sort of sat back and go, oh god, they've really given no thought to the soundtrack at all. Quite a few bad performances in the film as well. One of the worst comes from young actor Bodhi Sabongwe. Bodhi is playing Amon Tomaz in this film, so the on-screen son of Sarah Shahi's character. I don't necessarily want to say the problem lies with Sabongwe. He does his best, but he's given a lot of responsibility for such a young performer. The problem with this character is that essentially he is placed alongside Black Adam as a sort of sidekick who guides him through the modern world. And this is a technique that wears thin pretty quick. Also seeing this kid characterized by how he's rebellious because he rides a skateboard around, seeing him try and rally his country by raising a triangle symbol over his forehead. It all just feels a little bit too cheesy and overacted. In contrast to that is our lead actor, Dwayne Johnson, who is giving one of his worst performances in years as Black Adam. A real shame given how much he loves the role. He's clearly passionate about the character, but he approaches anger and sort of this frustration, this approach to violence with no emotion. There's been lots of complaints throughout the years that The Rock plays the same character. I almost wish he had. He always has this sort of charismatic approach. Black Adam's not charismatic. Black Adam is a killer, he's hell-bent on justice, he's rageful, and The Rock's approach is dropping expression, saying in a deep gravelly voice what he's thinking, flat tone whole way through. Occasionally he'll throw out a quip and suddenly there's emotion there, which again feels extremely out of character to how he's otherwise playing Black Adam. It's a performance that's so absent of anything that I struggle to mark it as a leading role, because sometimes Black Adam falls into the background of the scenes that he is in. Dwayne Johnson's not the only superhero that doesn't really fit the bill in this film. We get Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, who joins a long list of live-action Hawkmans that really don't impress. Hodge is meant to be playing this team leader figure, someone who guides the JSA into battle against Black Adam, and the amount of times you don't really see him strategize or lead his team, instead getting beaten around like a drum. The conflict between Hawkman and Black Adam is such a center point of the film, but because Johnson's not putting his best work in, and Hodge's role is written to be such a two-dimensional black and white character, the conflict feels paper thin. So, with all that in mind, with all that said and done, I have to let you know that this movie is definitely a don't buy it. Hitting a big 3 out of 10 on my book. joining such greats as other superhero flops of the year like Morbius. I was not terribly impressed. However, have you already seen Black Adam? I'd love to know your thoughts down below. And if you've got a favourite DC film, please mention it. I'd love to hear it. And until the next review, I'll see ya.